Hello, everybody, again, and thank you for joining my channel. It's been a while since we've been together. It's um, it's quite a journey, all the things that we're going through, and I'm just gonna continue this video from where we left off and the things that I said that I do in my previous videos, which is so of course write things down and just say the things that I feel are important in the things that I write. So, not every time do I ever have a chance to communicate, but when I do, I realize that we connect energetically. Everyone that's in here, good and bad. There's no difference. Only we make the judgment of what's good and bad for ourselves, and we make that judgment to others because at some higher dimensional level, things are meant to be. And I tend to speak a lot of things and say a lot of things. And since I've started, ever since I've wanted not to write anything down, I've decided that it's easier if I do so because of the push right towards that objective. I need to write this down. My higher selves, or even just what feels right, what might be helpful for others. That I do so. Excuse me. So I'm just gonna go on to writing. I know that I'll connect eventually with your energy and everyone else's energy here, yours as well. But there's just things that I need to say, and everything will just come along. So I'm gonna start now by saying this: the fourth dimensional lessons, and we're gonna be finding out more about the realm and the rules and the regulations of a fourth dimensional existence. So let's say that somebody's intuitive, and you have an intuition, and you have a gift, and this intuitional gift, this gift of intuition allows you to communicate with others. Now, you may just have discovered your gift, right? You may just thought that it was something that you weren't quite aware of, but since humanity is waking up and we're all in the same sort of journey here together, then your intuition skills are going to start to brighten and brighten and brighten and enlighten you and enlighten you and enlighten you very much. So I have this idea of how things work specifically for me, and it could be different for you. So if you just look up or if you research what an out-of-body experience is, an out-of-body experience is you feel that you know that you're out of body. You're in your spirit body. You're in your translucent body, and you can feel like you've also are coming back into your body, right? That's like an intuitive, and that's the intuitive realm that's working there for you. So the information that you bring down is information that you receive first from the realm, and then you bring it down, and it becomes part of your awareness. It's a very basic thing to do because higher dimensional beings can do a whole lot of other things. Their manifestation skills, though instant outside of this reality, it's very linear for us in this reality, the way it looks, the way you look at how time works and how you have to travel distances to get to places, etc. So every night you're in bed, you're outside, or you can say things like, I want to meet my galactic family, right? I want to I don't know. I want to see my my galactic family, my galactic friends. I want to visit the planet or where I'm from. Or you can just say, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? Can you show me my purpose and my goal? You keep repeating that to yourself enough times. You have to believe it. and then you come across your realization of what you are here to do. You'll be guided towards those sort of things. Because I felt in the past that I wanted to steer away from my journey and my path. And the acceptance of it came in 2019 when a series of events occurred then, unbeknownst to me, which I can go into a lot of other details later in life. I'll write it down for myself and kind of piece it together because I can still always ask the higher dimensions, ask my higher self, ask my galactic family of the things that we've been through and the things that we're going to continue to go through moving forward. So as my personal journey, then it could be documented, and I'll share some parts of it as well in my YouTube videos because I don't expect to stop ever doing these videos as the channel evolves. Maybe different background, different scenarios, different situations can always impact the material that I bring out to you. So the fourth dimension is, and this is what I've heard and what I've understood, the fourth dimension doesn't have bylaws. There are no rules to abide by. It's like the Wild West. It really is just open plain and open field. For example, you can get married in the fourth dimension to anybody. There are no rules set to marriage in the fourth dimensional field, the fourth dimensional realm. Mind you, thinking of Earth and thinking of what a fourth dimensional experience is, there's tons of fourth dimensions beings that different densities outside of space. Jupiter can have a fourth dimensional group of beings in there somewhere, wherever. And that's just an example of what other galaxies and other universes can bring about, right? How it can go. But generally, is my understanding around this specific part of the galaxy that we're in, there aren't any set rules, like there could be somewhere in Andromeda, or there could be somewhere in the Pleiades, right? There's rules are not set here in this dimensional field for a fourth dimension experience. I hope that's not entirely correct, but it's what I understood, and I haven't heard anyone say otherwise, so I'm sticking to it. All right, so I wanted to, let's see, where was I? So depending on the level, and this is kind of like a lesson kind of that I'm going through here, and then I'll give you some other stuff here as we go. Depending on the level of your understanding and your knowledge and the seat of your soul resides, you are either repel or attract a certain type of energy field. So you'll live and you'll have these energy, the energy coming towards you, and you will feel that energy of a person. And I like to think of an example that I've gave myself quite a few times, and what I've told myself was, think of a UV light or something, a bug zapper that's a light attractant, right? A moth will go to the flame and go burn and die. It'll get close, it'll get that close. That kind of connection that you have with the flame and the moth, think of it as you having a bubble around yourself, and this is your aura. Okay? And this aura, let me just stop there for a second. So, the way it feels is like you're outside of your body, in a way. You're being pulled outside of your body. It's a near-death experience. The first time it happened to me, it happened in the form of a near-death experience. I didn't think we were gonna die, but my mind just went completely blank. While I knew that I still was where I was, because later on I realized what happened. It took me a while to recover from the idea of, the event happening where I would not exist anymore, and thus my brain taking over to adjust the experience, right? So generally we don't necessarily pass away in a If you could see it coming, you're just shut down and everything. Okay, it'll start doing it. Like, okay, you're not gonna exist anymore. You see something coming at you, or is it some animal or some inherent danger? For whatever reason, you choose to jump off a bridge. I mean, you're automatically just before you hit the ground, you're already gone, right? Technically, so to speak. But it's a near-death experience, so it feels that way. But it's a controlling feeling that you'll be able to then manage. And the management of that would allow you to step outside of a third dimensional realm while still being in your physical body all at once, and then experiencing that, all that information, all that abundance of knowledge out there, which you can then bring back to you. And a lot of people are going to understand exactly what I'm talking about, right? So that's extremely and very well possible. All right. So depending on the level of the understanding and your knowledge, the seat of your soul resides. You will either repel or attract a certain type of energy field. Okay. Always can read my own writing. Always try to discern the type of energy that you are receiving. So, my energy field, and I come across another person that has a slightly bit of awareness. Because of the way that we have this planet structured and the way that the negative bad guys, let's call them that, because at some level they're bad, right? At higher levels, it's not entirely so. Excuse me. You come across another person's energy field, and out of experience, I've realized that you are connecting with their fears. You're connecting with their so-called fears. You're connecting with the part of them that they don't want to be outside of themselves entirely. The things that they don't want others to know about them is what you're connect with. Okay? So with me, all those things that are already out there that people may know already about me doesn't affect me anymore, or doesn't generate the kind of energy field that feeds this kind of behavior, which is inherent in the way that the planet was terraformed or objectively put in a certain way to generate this kind of frequency, negative energy that negative entities feed off of. So once you clear those kind of barriers, as I've said earlier, and you start clearing all this energy off of you, you'll begin to generate more light. Light as the example of the moth and the flame. So when you can say that your aura is just as extends just as further as your seat here, right, where you're sitting or wherever you might be, as an example, then again, as the clearings start to happen, then you could look across the hallway if you're down the aisle in a supermarket, and another person that's just slightly intuitive, they'll pick up on your energy because it's just beginning to grow and expand and expand. So what I said in my previous videos is they're doing the hard work for us because they're bringing about these sort of energies in others, and it's having the opposite effect. The opposite effect, people are then just now starting to awaken. They are probably having issues that are affecting their personal livelihood based on their experiences and journeys, which others take advantage of to try and control the herd. But the opposite is true, where now people are just going to break out of these chains and expand their energy field, and it's out of control for them. For those that think that the planet is going to be harvested for negative energies. So I felt other people's fears and emotions. I felt their desires, their wishes, and it's very responsible. You have to be very responsible with the things that you know because it's karmic in a way. You you know, the way I can explain karma to you, it's very different than the way that you would understand it because you might have a limited belief. So basically, what you think of it is exactly true. Do unto others, it won't happen to you, so to speak. But it goes to a different level depending on your growth. So the children will be able to understand more. Let me give you an example. I live close to a very large city, and I so happened to have a few jobs that I had to do in that city. Okay, so I was driving around and I was, doing what I had to do. I don't want to get into specifics, but I remember a lady that was like in her 20s, and I felt her aura, her field of energy. It immediately was apparent to her and to me, and we looked at each other. And I knew what she was thinking. And I remember just kind of saying out loud, so she knew that she wasn't having any sort of advantage over what her thoughts were because there were it was something like look at me, like look at me. It's kind of what I felt coming from her. The insecurity of a 20 something female in a big city that probably just doesn't feel like they're drawing enough attention because there's just so much going on right around them. So what I felt from that was kind of saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, kind of thoughts, right? Ideas. And then I remember then just kind of looking at her and I said, stop. And I made her aware of the fact that I also knew. Because I believe, in my experiences, is that every single teenager and person in their 20s is able to, at some degree of one level or the other, expand their intuition. They're just not telling adults. Let that sink in for a while. They're just not going to tell them. They fear that they're going to be exposed in some one way or another. And it just takes a match to light a fire. Okay? It's going to go out and expand itself unbeknownst. And it's just going to be great. Okay? So, I'm deciding to keep all others anonymous, even though I didn't know this person. Anyone that comes around in my energy, I immediately communicate with them. I always like to say when I'm across somebody that has this sort of ability and they're just unaware, and my awareness is a little greater than them, and I can say, hey, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I always like to throw this in. I say to them, don't worry, there's millions of us just like us, relax. Because they're very, it's a waking up, it's an awakening. It's an awakening. And yes, this is going to be a very long video. And yeah, your kid can probably do this too. In other words, we're just beginning to become the Galactic Society that we're meant to be. This is if you're gonna invest in something, this is the ground level of where you want to be to get started with everything. So it brings me to this because I believe this is all important. Okay, so keep them coming. They're there. All right. So for Galactic Updates, the Pleiadians from the Federation have, Jesus Christ. The Galactic Federation Pleiadians have decrypted 7 out of those 9 beings that were in the stasis chambers, and have their hive control codes. They've been acquired. The Orion group, I wrote here. I don't know why. So, about 4 weeks ago, and I think most of you would understand what I mean here, and I remember it this way, okay? There was an anomaly that occurred a few weeks ago. So they kind of bent the timeline, right? They kind of shifted the energy around a bit that you can feel it. Okay, they shifted the energy around a little bit and you can feel it. And what they did was they opened up a portal or a communication sphere or communication channel in some way, and they try to call home so they can come and pick them up and take them away. Right, the baddies, they wanted to go, but they did everything exactly right. It worked. I'll give it to them. It did work what you did, but there was nobody there to answer the phone. You did everything right. You're just not going anywhere. You're gonna stay right here with us, okay? So they phoned home, and you felt this sort of way. If you're the type that can sense this sort of energy, then you would yeah, right here, you would what's the word? You would have known that something happened, okay? And immediately your intuition kicks in. You raise your vibration and energy. You connect with your higher self, and then you see everything, and then you say, oh, well, that's what they try to do. Okay. And you did it right. I'll give you that. But there was nobody there to answer that phone call. All right. So this is me just kind of going ahead of myself, and I've already written this down, but I'm going to read it out anyway because it's how it felt to me then. So your auric field comes close to another field, and the frequency can match either way, either good or bad. And your level of awareness can expand the more you experience this effect on you, and then it begins to grow and it begins to manifest. Okay. Some people may not like your energy because it doesn't match. It doesn't resonate with their energy. You don't have the same kind of goals, or you don't have the same kind of ideals for you to kind of jive, right? You want to jive with the other person in that sense, right? All right, so, instead of accepting the energy of the others, then the matrix programming puts you in the programming mode, which whatever your flavor of the day might be for the programming of the month, or whatever way it happens or it used to happen. So you act out these impulses, these matrix impulses from your upbringing, your customs, the way that the matrix programmed your part of the planet to whatever other reason they wanted to have you in whichever situation you're in. But if you center your energy and come from their heart and follow your compass, then you don't have to do nothing more than just wait and feel grounded. So what I'm teaching, or what I'm saying here, is that it's okay to feel these feelings because they've been ingrained in humanity for so long that it won't be much longer. But they're going to be ingrained in humanity for so long that you need to become aware that they exist and they're there for you. This awareness has to become evident. So you can say, okay, you know what? It's happening again. I can put this to the side, okay? To the point where you just realize that you can always be grounded within your own energy field and not actually be expectant of an outside of currents to affect the way that you'd have to behave. So just be yourself, right? Follow your heart. Be yourself. Ground yourself. And then you'll see as everything just going to start to recede. Everything's just going to start to recede, and you'll be within your own awareness, like the example of the person that I explained to you earlier. And all the, fun, loving people that are making this a better world for everybody. Thank you. So do that. Practice it. Even if something happened in the morning and you're sitting laying in bed at night and you're thinking, wow, you know what? I just realized that I did that morning. At least become aware of the situation. At least become um, recognize. I'm trying to think of a better word, but recognize that, so your situation can improve, even if it doesn't seem like you're improving. I remember being told, even if you're going through the valley of the shadow of death and you're not growing, you really are growing. Even if you haven't felt that you're not going anywhere and you're just pedaling without having any direction, yes, you are. You'll grow. You'll become that. You'll be better. And I take that to heart because I can think 6, 8 months back then, and all the trust and faith that I put in the situation that I was in. Every day I'm in a situation. So I'm not trying to be specific about anything that happened 4 months ago or whatever. But recognize the wholeness in you. You can do this. And you're your own worst enemy. Work yourself through this process so that you can get there. And slowly the training wheels will come off. And you'll start feeling it. I mean, the best thing in life that I ever experienced was when I came across someone else that could do what I could do and can see things without those filters that we have. Race, gender, social status, popularity, beauty, faith. What else can we think about? You're from the south of the equator. Get out of here. Forget about it. Those things are coming down. Everything's gonna be all right. So I leave you with a positive note. Everything's okay. We're good. There hasn't been much of anything going on, and I'll try my best to keep bringing the videos and keep bringing information. A lot of stuff out there, I write it down and I'm going to send it to your way if at all possible when the time feels right. I guess we're back to square one when we think about how I'm going to go through this process. And I wish you all the best. Sorry for the lengthy video. It's absolutely necessary. And enjoy the rest of your evenings. Have a good one.